I'm making barley, peas, and corn. Now this is using a grain that many of us use in soup but don't use it a lot of other places. So we're actually going to use it and turn it into a side dish with some added benefits of some other vegetables as well. So I'm going to start with a tablespoon of vegetable oil of your choice. And then when it's on a medium-high heat, and to that I'm going to add about a half a cup of chopped onion. And this is going to have to pretty much just sit there. You don't have to stir it a lot, but spread it out over the pan so that it's making as much contact as possible. Come and check on it. It's going to take about 4 minutes. You want it soft, but not brown, so keep an eye on it. Once that gets done, we're going to add some garlic, we're going to add some barley. So let's talk about the barley while that's working. First of all, barley is not a whole grain. And almost all the barley that you buy in the supermarket is something called pearled, which is why it's not a whole grain, because it is rubbed or polished to take off the bran, so that it's all going to come out something like this when it's done. It's a much lighter color, and the lighter color it is down to the truly pearled barley is going to have the least fiber to it. Now the nice thing about barley, however, is that unlike most of our other grains where the fiber is mostly in the bran, it's throughout the grain here. So we can take the bran off and still end up with a lot of fiber here. Now the other thing that most of the barley that we buy in the supermarket is, if you get pearled barley itself, it's in little beads that look somewhat like pearls, often very white because it's been polished a lot. And that is going to be something that is going to take a long time to cook. So what most of us do is we buy something called quick barley. It's also pearled, and if you look at the label carefully, you'll find the word pearled in there too, although a lot of times we just call it quick barley. And it's got the same process of polishing it, but then they take it and they run it through some rollers to flatten it down, and that crushing spreads it out, increases the surface area, and allows you to cook it in a much shorter time. So it can cook in 10 to 15 minutes instead of the much longer 40 minutes or so or longer that it would take for actual pearled barley to do. This hasn't quite been a full 4 minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and add some ingredients here to it. I'm going to add the garlic, and this you want to have just a moment or so with the oil, maybe 30 seconds, to start releasing some of the flavors there. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and add the barley itself. Now that was 2 cloves of garlic that were minced, and this is 3/4 of a cup of quick barley. I'm going to add that to it. The thing I want to have happen here is I want the barley itself to get a little bit of toastiness to it. So we're going to let that sit for about a minute, stir it in with the oil, make sure that it's all coated so that it actually can start to toast. And again, I want to make full contact with the bottom of the pan. This is just a large saucepan that you're going to need, probably better than a skillet in this case, because we are going to add some liquid to it. It's sort of like cooking rice, but we're going to leave it a little bit soupier. All right, to that, I'm going to add 2 cups of a low sodium broth, either chicken broth or vegetable broth. And most of that is going to get absorbed as it cooks. Also going to add a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and this is the one that's going to really make it set off. This is 1/8 of a teaspoon, excuse me, of ground turmeric, which we use a lot in pickling but don't use so much in the rest of our cooking, and it adds a gorgeous golden color to it. It can also add a golden color to your utensils and your pans if they have a white lining, and your clothing if you're not careful with it. It also has a nice flavor to it as well. So it adds some of the color that a dry mustard might, but doesn't add that kind of flavor. It adds its own. So this is going to come up to a boil. We're going to reduce the heat and then let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Okay, this looks great. You can see that it's gotten that golden color, and the barley itself has swelled up a lot. Also going to add to this at this point, we're going to cook it about 5 minutes more. I've got a half a cup of peas. Now if you're in springtime and you've got fresh peas, that would be awesome. Frozen peas work really well as they do in most cases when you're working with peas because they freeze so well. And alternatively, if it was a little later in the summer, if you have fresh corn, that could be used here. We've got about half a cup of each of those going in, either frozen or fresh. And then we're going to let it cook just long enough to cook that through, probably another 4 to 5 minutes. And then we'll pretty much be done. Again, put the cover on it, recover. It should have been covered the first time when you were cooking for 15 minutes too. Okay, the great unveiling. As you can see, it's still got some soupiness to it, and that's appropriate for this. If you have leftovers, more of that's going to get absorbed into it, but this is perfect for the way it is for serving it right now. A couple more ingredients. I'm going to stir in about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice, and just stir that together to make sure it's all mixed all the way through. And that's pretty much it. The other ingredient is optional. To that, or with that, I'm going to serve it up. This actually makes about 4 servings. And I like serving it in a plate as well as a bowl. If you're serving it with other things, it can kind of flavor some of those other things, and I like flavors running together. A lot of times kids in particular aren't particularly fond of it, but I like it that way. And then a little bit of shredded Parmesan cheese over the top. And that's all there is to this one. It is absolutely terrific. I hope you'll give it a try. It's barley, peas, and corn. For Oklahoma Gardening, I'm Barbara Brown.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.